Instagram. I got you. I got you this time. I'm so excited. I made sure I spent extra care, extra time over there to make sure you guys were included today. I'm sorry, I sound a little raspy voice. That's because I was just, cheering really, really hard after the game on behalf of those DC defenders. We have Coach Shannon Harris with us again today. I'm gonna bring him in as we celebrate him being the head coach of the XFL Conference champions, the DC Defenders. Hey, Coach.
What's up? How's it going?
What's going? What's that back there behind you? What's going on back there? That's a new addition.
Yeah, that's something that was added to the office just a few days ago, but you know,
Mhm.
job's not done yet.
It's not. It
In
is
the
not.
words of the late great Kobe Bryant, you know, his job's not done.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
It's true. How are you feeling after this eventful weekend?
Yeah, we feel good. It was one of those type of games that we knew um, that was going to be physical. But before I forget,
Hmm.
which I should never forget, is always God is amazing,
I
right?
was gonna
So
once you finish, I was gonna get you there.
yeah, so it was one of those type of games where we knew it was going to be physical. We prepped all week for the moment of the game being physical. So some guys are pretty sore, banged up, but the one thing about it is like we can't just shoot our wad all on that one game and then have one more left, right? So we still got some bullets in the chamber. So
Yeah.
we're gonna continue to prep the way we need to prep. We're gonna take care of the guys as coaches and make sure they all good. And from a physical standpoint, mentally we know where they are, but from a physical standpoint, we're gonna make sure we take care of their bodies the right way, and then get to work and and be ready for Saturday.
All right. Well, as I always do, this time is not going to be any different. Recap some goodness that we saw on tape. It was a dominating win. And my first experience being in the dome with the Battlehawk fans. And now the claim is it is Audi West. Okay. 36-18. Jordan had 200 yards, 204 yards with a touchdown. Seth Williams. That touchdown was amazing. It was a 40-yard plus 42-yard touchdown. I believe McCrane made all his kicks. On the defensive side, you had 5 sacks. Back in the 5 sack column, 5 sacks for us, 2 by Malik. Roberson, Mintz, and Wallace all contributed. I feel like is it not a defender's game if Wallace doesn't have a sack? And Malik also forced the fumble, and Roberson also forced the fumble. He had some turnovers there. I believe Dean also contributed with a takeaway as well. So just so many guys contributing offensively and defensively, and that game was just so dominating. And I just want to applaud you guys for just the effort that you guys put out there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And like after the game, like I told anybody that asked any question, like we won that game on Wednesday. You know,
Hmm.
because of the mindset that we went into that practice with. When we put the pads on, we made it physical. We made it competition wise on offense, defense, special teams, and so the way those guys responded, and then we followed it up on Thursday. We put the pads on again. Typically, we don't. It's pads on Wednesday, spiders, which just your helmet pretty much, and then just a little undergarment under your
Hmm.
jersey on Friday, and I mean on Thursday and Friday, and then it's a fast Friday practice. But we challenged those guys. They looked at me crazy on that Thursday though, and like, coach, like, what up? And I'm like, look, man, if you want
You
to
want to
win
win.
a championship, if you want to get to that level, these are the things we got to do. But we
Mm.
took care of them. After we got through a period to where we thought we were good. We took the pass off and then went from there. But yeah, all three phases was good.
Mhm.
It was good to see get some turnovers, but we got to learn how to either scoop and score the ball or fall on it the proper way to give us the ball back right there. And then those opportunities create more points, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, defensively, hard knocks, man. Those guys was fast and physical off the ball and explosive off the ball. Offensively, you mentioned it, Seth. Uh, with the opening with the touchdown.
I forgot to mention the running backs, and I am so sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I didn't mention them, and they had combined for 174 yards, 2 touchdowns by Jackson and 1 by Abram. And I'm so sorry,
Yeah,
y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. Y'all know
yeah,
it's
no,
unintentional.
yeah, no. I was gonna get to those guys for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm so sorry.
But no, the
Yeah.
thing about it was Seth, started off with that touchdown for us offensively. And it's kind of like the first time we played those guys there. Ty
Mhm.
Scott had the deep bomb
Yes.
there to start the game off for us offensively, and then everything else followed suit after that.
Yeah.
It was just an overall dominating performance. The mindset of our football team is based off our offensive line and our
Mhm.
defense line. As they go, we go. Some people look at it differently. As the quarterback go, you go. No, I played quarterback, and I already know that as the offensive line go, as the defensive line go, the team go.
Yeah.
That's the attitude, the mindset of our football team. So those guys, of course, I've always said it throughout every week. Our offensive line keep Jordan upright, we're
Mhm.
good. And then our defensive line make sure that their quarterback is not upright, and they give a little extra hit on their quarterback. We're in good shape. So that was the mindset this week, and we got to have even more than what we did this week, this past weekend, this week.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the offensive line. It's actually one of our fan questions, but I wanted to get into what you guys did or saw, and obviously Vaughn has some credit in this, or maybe a lot, I don't know.
A lot.
I'll say a lot of credit in this from last year to this year because Jordan looks comfy. I remember why I said it in against the Houston game. He wasn't in for the whole game, but I'm like, he looks comfortable behind this line. And that says a lot from what I saw on tape last year.
Yeah, I mean, no, you said it right. I mean, it's all based off of how good we are up front. And then the other part of it is Coach Braswell, our offensive line coach, have done an amazing job. Those guys filling in, coming in late.
Mm,
As we talked about all year, all the obstacles that we've had to go through, like losing our offensive line coach day one of camp,
mm,
and then Coach Braswell been a long time friend of mine, and then in Coach Kais, of course, and then he actually played for Coach Kais.
oh,
But then, I was hoping that we didn't lose him back to the NFL because he had been in the NFL and been at the University of Maryland.
mhm,
So we was hoping that he was still available when that happened. So we got him. But yeah, so losing our offensive line coach, then losing Coach Barlow, and then losing G Dub, all that stuff is all worked together, for our good. But at the same time, everyone bought into it. The offensive line, grasps the things that what Coach Braswell had been teaching them.
mhm,
They respect him and know that he know what he's talking about and know what he's doing. And that was, I mean, throughout this year, that's what I've been kind of giving all the credit to our offensive line and telling
mhm.
Jordan, like, I mean, he's feeling comfortable, like you said, and if we can continue to do that, then we'll be fine.
I've seen on the other side quarterbacks not look comfy, and I will talk about that the reason why they're not looking so comfy a little bit later. But I want to get into what conversations that you have, or is it a look, is it a wink, or is it a conversation that you have with Coach Williams when you saw or when you see in games they switch at quarterback?
Yeah, well, that was the game plan. Like,
Mhm.
for me, this is the thing. Like, I talked to those guys about this from a defensive perspective.
Yeah.
All right, they're gonna try to get 88 the ball. They're gonna
Yes.
try to get number one the ball, right? And then they're gonna try to run the football because that's what they want to do,
Yeah.
right? And then they're gonna try to run the quarterback. When
Mhm.
the quarterback run, we need to hit him. And
Yes.
when we hit him, we make sure we make him feel it.
Mhm.
Have the other quarterback in mind for when he come in because we're gonna hit him hard. You know what I mean? So we already had game prep that throughout the course of the week that we know that the other quarterback gonna be in the game. We already knew that in our mind. So when he
Mhm.
get in the game, here's the plan. And
Okay.
so that was the thought process of it. And then when he got in the game, we needed to know who the next quarterback gonna be
Yeah.
because we knew who he is as a quarterback who is has been a vet into this game, and then it just got back to number one. So
Yeah.
that was the mindset, and we got to make sure that we had that same mindset going into this week
Mhm.
because this guy here is unbelievable. Who will be facing this week? But yeah, that was the whole thought process and the mindset with it, knowing that they want to try to get 88 the ball, they want to try to get number one the ball, they want to try to run the ball because they supposedly have the best offensive line in the running game, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And we challenged our guys to that, and that was the reason why we did a Coach Harris drill,
Oh,
and,
what's
and,
that?
it, and it was called Team Run. And so yeah, we did Team Run twice this week, last week, and we're gonna do it twice again this week because
All
we know
right. Look, if it
Michigan is
ain't broke,
physical.
if it ain't broke,
Well,
don't fix it.
well, it's playoff football, and
Yeah.
you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and
Yeah.
so we know what those matchups like with Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati in that AFC West. We talk about all the type of playoff atmosphere, what it takes to win championships, and you got to be able to run the football right.
Yes.
And so yeah, that was us, and we're gonna challenge our guys again, and whoever touched the ball, they got to feel it.
Mhm. Well, we're gonna get into this week's game and kind of the you talked about it already, but we'll talk about it a little bit more on strategy. I want to talk about we'll talk about offensive player of the year. I feel like I'm not done with this week's game. Like, let me go back. Let me go back to this week's game before I go into that one. You guys played so well, and I know it was a difficult to name the player of the game. So tell me how you guys collectively made the decision of who to honor this week.
Yeah, so I go to our special team coordinator,
Mhm.
Coach Sharper, and then who's won Super Bowls, who played in a lot of big time games, and know what the AFC North is about uh, from when he was playing with Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, but
I
then
hopefully.
also from a offensive staff, defensive staff, right? And typically, it's sometimes it's throughout the course of the season, it's one guy on each side of the ball. But these guys were so good all in all phases, So and it came down to three guys in all phases, right? So
Mhm.
that was the thing. Actually, we had four guys on special teams this
Okay.
week. So and that's how we kind of got to it. On special teams, it was uh Trey Berry. I mean, he did a phenomenal job with his snaps, covering the ball, and then and field goal, all that stuff. Matt McCrane, he was 100% on his field goals.
Mhm.
Uh, my man Baskerville, and then trading on special teams, and then offensively the running back core,
Mhm.
AB, and my man D Jack,
Yeah.
and then also Seth for setting the tone on the first touchdown. But he had some other big time explosive runs and catches. I mean, and blocking on the perimeter was really good. Defensively, we had Fisher,
Mhm.
D Robe, and my man Heinz Sauce, Heinz 57. We had it.
Mhm. Some
My
great
guy was
plays.
all over the place. Yeah. Hmm.
Some great plays. Man.
So those are our players of the game this week, and those guys set the tone for us.
Congratulations to them. I want to do a quick player highlight. And we didn't talk about him, but you just mentioned him. And I just knew that he was at least top. I just thought he was going to be Defensive Player of the Year. So I want to spend some time and talk about D. Robe, Derek Roberson, for those who don't know who I'm referencing. And I think he sets a tone that is not doesn't show up on a stat sheet. I think what he does, and I've watched it. I've watched quarterbacks look at him, look for him, prepare for him in ways again it's not showing up on a stat sheet. And I think he definitely should have been considered Defensive Player of the Year. Um, I've seen Perez. I saw Max. Look for him and see him as such a disruptor. And I'm just curious of your thoughts on his play.
Yeah, I mean, D-Rowe deserve all the credit for sure as far as what he brings to the team and what he brings to the league. And yeah, me personally, the reason why I think and we have guys that could have easily won defensive player. We have at least four guys that could have won
Absolutely.
defensive player of the year, right? But D-Rowe is one of those guys at the top, and then I mean, not only does he pass rush well, he defend the run well. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So that's the thing that was disappointing for me to why, guys like himself that didn't get the opportunity to win the award because he does multiple things in what we do defensively, you know. But then there's other guys that could have won defensive player of the year on our team. Is D Robe, and then you talk about my Joe Wallace,
Hmm.
and then Mintz,
Hmm.
and then my Baker.
Yeah.
Bake could easily have won. All those guys could easily have won Defensive Player of the Year from our team. But you know, all that stuff right there is we don't buy into it. We just our motto is keep doing good, don't get discouraged, and don't give up. So we're gonna continue to work and continue to add fuel to it, and we're just gonna go from there.
Yeah. Look, there may be some light at the end of the tunnel because they did name the quarterback you guys are going up against this week, Bryce Perkins, as Offensive Player of the Year. So that leaves me to believe MVP is still very much an option for Jordan.
Yeah, it could be, but in our meetings today, we talked about it, and I'm like, those things don't bother us, don't phase us at all. The things that we can do is control the things we can control, and whatever the people vote for, that's out of our control.
Yeah.
The thing that's in our control is how we show up for this game on Saturday
Mhm.
and perform in the right way that we need to perform. So, yeah, that all those awards that they give out, for the people, we don't worry about those things. Those things there is just out of our control. Uh, we can't go in there and vote for ourselves and do those type of things. So, for us is to go out there and do the things that we've been doing throughout the course of the year. We don't get caught up in all that stuff. Words don't never hurt nobody. Words have never beat us. We just got to go out there and perform and do the things that we got to do and understand that the job is still not done.
Yeah. Okay, before we get into the fan segment, I want to talk about the atmosphere at the Dome against this particular team. I imagine it would be a little similar, but it won't be the same, right? This was a Battle Hawks fan base, a Battle Hawks game, and I've like I said, it was my first time being in that environment, being away with you guys, and it wasn't a championship game, and hearing the things that they were saying and how those guys were able to compete at the and dominate in that environment. I can't help I know it fueled them. I know those things that were being said at them fueled them. And I just want you to speak to that because I know you could hear some of it.
Yeah, you block it out, but again, for us, we already talked about it. It was Audi West for us. We
Yeah.
said we mentioned it
Yep.
early in the week. Like this is out of West. We own that dome. You know what I mean? And but the other part about it, we feel comfortable going into that place.
Mhm.
And I mean Jordan has played there. He was he was the quarterback there before.
Yep.
And the one thing we also talked about was like the way you quieten that crowd is one, we run the football effectively, and
Mhm.
then we move the ball offensively, and then we get after their quarterback and dominate, stop their run game. And then we knew that once we did that, the dome itself would be quiet. And we've had a lot of success over there in that place. And so that was the mindset going into it, throughout the course of the week. We showed clips throughout the week as well of how he's dominated in that place and all those things. So we felt comfortable and we were fine, but it all started with the preparation, how
Yep.
we prepared Tuesday, Monday we was off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So how we prepare throughout the course of the week is how we went in there to win the game.
Okay. Yeah, um I'm thankful for the experience because hearing it quiet, and I'm so used to being in Audi, and when you guys do something amazing, it's a roar. And it being just like you could hear a pin drop when a catch happens. And we did have some representation. Shout out to Nate and District Defender and Carrie, all the beautiful DC Defender fans that showed up, and family as well. It was nice to see and meet everyone there in that environment. It totally made it worthwhile. Me and District Defender even came up with a little tune post game.
My guy,
So we were totally there on one accord, but I think it's going to be a whole different environment on Saturday. There are going to be a lot more DC fans coming down. They've already told me they've got their flights, they've got their hotels, they are ready to show up and show out. They're trying to figure out how to build a baby beer snake and take it to the stadium like they did the last time. So they're preparing to put on a show for you guys.
yeah.
So that takes me into the fan segment. Some questions here. Back to the O line. We talked about it earlier, and it was just about developing it this year. How did you develop it to get that run game established, whether it was with the running backs, and then Jordan also had some success with the run earlier this year? You want to speak on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, everything all revolve around continuity.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, we work together throughout the course of the week, you develop continuity. As you work throughout games, you develop continuity. So, I mean, the thing about it is always you get better at reps. That's just in life, in anything you do in any job, right? So,
Yeah.
and same thing with our running back, as they continue to feel comfortable in seeing our guys in our blocking schemes and things like that, getting familiar. And you
Mm-hmm.
got to think about like a guy like AB, he coming off an ACL tour
Yeah.
last season, right? So he's getting more comfortable. The more he run, the better he get. And he was learning how to get behind his pads again. And
Yeah.
then Dion, been out for a little while, and then he was getting behind his pass again. So as the year went on, these guys were getting more comfortable, and that developing that continuity and getting their reads back down and all that stuff as well. So that was the biggest thing as far as in our O line. I mean, again, Coach Braswell have done a phenomenal job with those guys. We're grateful to have him as our coach, our offensive line coach. And, he deserves a lot of credit for that. And those guys have bought into the things that he's taught them and with the scheme and everything, what Coach Kai's come up with every week. So, so that's kind of how it all developed. As the year went on as well, Jordan was adamant about like, Coach, use my legs more. You know what I mean? So we started doing that throughout the course of the season as well as it got late, and it paid off for us.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm happy for those running backs. Um, it's something that I've been wanting. I'm like, I want to see what this duo can do. I think it's something special. And I feel like we haven't even seen the best of it. I feel like it hadn't even
Nope.
peaked. So, tackling, uh, fans feel that it's been decent and great in great moments of tackling. How do you install that discipline? Also, I'm going to add this because of the opponent. He had a not so great game tackling with this opponent. So how are you guys working on that this week?
Yeah, I mean, all year we've we've done a pretty good job of tackling.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's been times that you have some guys that's just very slippery,
Mm-hmm.
and so this quarterback that we're about to face is very slippery as well. Yeah, we've added different drills, things like that. We've said to the guys, this guy's not a quarterback; he's a running back. He's a punt returner, he's a receiver. Control the lead of him being a quarterback. We'll figure out the passing part on the back end,
Mm.
But when it comes down to him being tackled, he is a running back, he's a receiver, or he's a uh, uh, tight end or any other position outside of a quarterback, right? That
Yeah.
who have the opportunity to carry the ball. So, yeah, so that's the approach we've taken, and we're taking throughout this week that we're gonna make sure that we tackle these guys. As we talked about that game early in the year,
Mhm.
and I talked to the team after the game. That team didn't beat us. It was fundamentals that beat us
Right.
on all phases, special teams, defensively and offensively. Fundamentals beat us that game. And sometimes when you off to a good start, you going into a game on the road, and some guys, think that we're better than what we are. And
Mm.
that's the thing for me as a coach. I'm always trying to let guys know that, we're not as good as we think we are. We got to do more. So
Yeah.
they realize that, and that's the part to where we are. We making sure we again cross all our T's and dot all our I's.
I love it. You referenced already that the game was won on Wednesday, or I believe was it you said Wednesday,
Yep.
and then and that preparation you talked about the extra day of pads. Is there any difference from this week than last week preparation?
From a mindset, no different. But from a physical standpoint, because it's such a quick turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
Because we played Sunday night, that team played early Sunday morning, so they kind of already had an advantage on us from that standpoint. But and then the game is on Saturday. It's not a Sunday to Sunday.
Right.
Or as you have in the NFL, you have an extra week to prepare, get your body right, and all that stuff. You know, but the thing for us is that we want to make sure that we take care of the guy's body, and then first and foremost, and make sure they're healthy going into the game.
Yes.
And then secondly, yeah, we want to teach the fundamentals again of knowing, making sure our eye discipline is good from a defensive standpoint, and we're tackling well. Offensively, we want to make sure we're precise in everything we do, and make sure our reads are good from the quarterback position. And then all the skilled guys make sure they know where to go and how to get there. So that's the big part for us throughout this week.
Now, this is another fan question. How do you feel knowing that there's a group of guys with HBCU backgrounds that came to the UFL and found some success?
You know, uh, there's a question that was asked to me early in the season,
Hmm.
uh, of when all these coaching changes were going on. Myself, the guy at San Antonio,
Hmm.
Peyton, and then the coach over at Memphis, right?
Yep.
So all these coaching changes, right, and all these guys have so many experience. And my answer to that was, there are so many great coaches out here, definitely in the HBCU world. But they don't always get these opportunities, right?
Hmm.
So the biggest thing was for me that try to make sure that we always do the things we're supposed to do as a professional, and then show our worth. You know what I mean? That there's a lot of great coaches out there that don't get these opportunities.
Hmm.
Uh, and when you have these opportunities, make sure you take advantage of them. So, yeah, the thing about it is just keep, again, our motto is keep doing good and don't get discouraged and don't give up. So, because at the end of the day, you continue to do those type of things, great things will happen in life.
Now,
Someone is always watching for sure.
excuse me. You're right. Speaking of watching film, is there extra motivation because of what happened last time you guys played Michigan?
Heck yeah,
Mhm.
definitely extra motivation. Extra, I mean with icing on top, with a cherry on top. So much motivation. I showed the clip today to the players and showed them the score, and let them know that this is something we will remember.
Yeah.
And we do remember this. And so what we're going to do about it, you know? And it all came down to, again, our fundamentals and how we approached everything.
Let me see if there, and then let me double check Instagram, make sure there's no fan questions over there. Because I did include y'all today. I didn't forget about y'all. All right, I don't see any here. Let me make sure. Um, you show so much excitement and emotion on the sideline. What are those conversations like when they're like pulling you back from the rest? Like, what is your team and your staff saying to you when they're trying to reel you in from that sideline?
Yeah, they always trying to hold me back. And, I try to be the ultimate pro all the time, right? So,
Mhm.
but there's things to where, for me personally, like don't insult my intelligence, you
Mm,
know. And
that's true.
so there's some things that be done and called, and so it's like you just really took 20 years of coaching from me. Like everything I know about coaching, you just told me it was totally different, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
And so those things, they are what they are. You live with them. Some guys see things different than how you see them, and so I leave it at that. Um, but yeah, I mean, our coach, they do a good job of holding me back on those things. So
Yeah.
uh, we just have to play through it. And our guys have done a good job of that all season. Let me say that all season, our guys have done a great job of playing through those type of things.
And I know as a player, that has to be great to see your coach just being so I don't want to say emotional, but invested in, making sure the right thing happens for you. So I know as a player that has to be good to see like, yeah, my coach.
Yeah, those guys know I have their back. And then, I be upfront and honest. Like I tell them, like, we didn't get the footage fast enough for me to challenge it, or it's more of, you know what, man, they came back to me and told me that, even if this happened or didn't happen or whatever the case may have been, they saw it different. They saw it this way. So I always make sure I have that communication with our players, whoever think that something had been done to them, because I want them to know what the officials are thinking and what the replay booth is thinking and what they saw. So I have to make sure I give that open communication to them as far as like, how to play it differently. And so they appreciate that and the feedback and all that stuff. So I'm always asking the officials, questions from that. Like, tell me exactly what he did,
Yeah.
what you saw, and how could he have done it different?
Yeah, I always wonder. We might have to talk about this one day. The conversations I see it from on all levels of football. Coaches and refs, they have pretty deep. I don't want to say deep, but they have extensive conversations pre games. They have them, and then
Yeah.
in game, it's like y'all don't even know each other. It's like you guys become like two different people. Your relationships completely change once the game starts. So I have to do some research on that and see what happens when the clock starts going and the game starts.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, yeah, you're
Everybody loves each other pre-game, the hugging, like how's this? How was the child? Everybody you have like your friends at some point, not saying your friends, but it looks like everything is happy. And then the game starts and it goes to
yeah.
double.
I can't speak for every other coach, but I go into every game with a lot of questions,
Yeah.
and because they give us a video of how the game had been officiated from every team
Mm,
or every game within the league, right?
mhm,
And so I make sure I watch every game or the video that it's in, and I watch the video closely.
mhm,
And then there's a lot of, oftentimes there's a lot of things that they say or whatever in those videos, even with other teams that I disagree with. And
mhm.
so I have those conversations, and then I bring it up to them, and I mean, quite frankly, I voice my opinion on it. It's
Okay,
a
okay.
where, this game happened with another team. This thing happened with another team, and so, like, where'd you come up with that from? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I go into the game already, kind of like, with, like, I don't know. You know, so please make sure this don't happen for us. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I have those, conversations with those guys and make sure that these things don't happen in or also let's make sure we have open communication.
Yeah, I like that. So that is going to take me down a rabbit hole with another list of questions for another a show. But it's nice to know that those conversations would be like, look, remember back against the such and such game on this play, this like what happened there. So
Yeah,
now
yeah,
I know what's going on in those pregame referee huddles. they look intense. They look focused.
yeah, definitely with me. I can't speak for no one else, but I let them know that I watch every clip of the video that they sent us,
Hmm.
and don't insult my intelligence.
Hey, I'm not mad at it. Let's get into this matchup one final time before we wrap today. We went a little over, so I appreciate your time, Coach, and all the fan questions that we had today. So thank you guys and everybody in the chat. Sheila, TJ, Tisdale, Brian, Tim. Thank you guys all for commenting in the chat. All right, this matchup, Michigan Panthers. We already talked about last week. The last matchup didn't go our way. Fundamentals was a big deal. Them not tackling, not treating that particular quarterback properly. I mean, I'll say properly because of his abilities to run. And obviously our offense didn't put up enough points as well, and special teams play. Going into this week, what we doing?
I mean, you said it. I mean, the first thing, defensively, we got to tackle defensively. Special team, the same thing. We got to be able to tackle when we kick the ball off
Mm-hmm.
and or punt the ball. From an offensive standpoint, sustain drive. Make sure we're efficient in our drive, whether it's a run in or a pass. Like we got to make sure we're good there. So, yeah, the biggest thing is, the defensive staff, Coach Blake and all those guys, man, had a really good game plan. Last time we played them, it all came down to tackling the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this week is going to come down to that same thing. That guy did some good stuff against Birmingham last week in running the ball all over the place, being efficient with their pass game. Uh, they have a simple game plan every week offensively,
Mm-hmm.
but they're really precise in what they do. And that guy, the quarterback, does a good job of making sure that it runs properly, right? So, and then the running back there, he runs the ball extremely hard. And up
Yeah.
front, they do a good job of blocking for him. And so they do a good job of having bad intentions. But, you know, we've had that type of fire and grit with ourselves, and we know what it takes to be in these type of games.
Mm-hmm.
We've been here before. So that's the thing for us. We know what it like to be in this game. And now we've had a taste of it. And now we know what it takes to get to that finish line and finishing the drill and winning the championship. So
Yeah.
we just got to make sure that we come in with the right mindset, right attitude. And like I said, all the time, tackle that ball and get that ball on the turf and then offensively be efficient. We know it's going to be a battle. There's going to be some adversity throughout the course of the game. The team that handles that adversity the best is the team going to win it. But we just got to keep doing good. Don't get discouraged when bad things happen, and then stay in the fight. And then don't quit, don't give up, and then finish the drill.
You guys have an advantage. You played in that arena so many times. It's gonna be so comfortable for you guys. It's like another, like you said, Audi West. You guys are gonna be fine there.
Out west. I took a lot. I ain't gonna say I took some flack for that, but I've had people have reached out to me and was like, "Yeah, they love it." So, I mean, it's out west. That's our home turf away from home.
I say that when we go to the Raiders, when the Pittsburgh Steelers go to the Raiders, I gotta stop saying we. When the Pittsburgh Steelers
Yeah,
go to
because
the
you're DC. You're DC.
Raiders, when they go to the Raiders, I call that, what do I call it? I think I call it Acrisure West, because now that's what
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
called. So I totally understand because they may actually take over because it's a bunch of Steeler fans on the West Coast.
That's right.
So, speaking of fans, any last words for the fans this week that will be taking that
Yeah,
journey?
I gotta make
We're not
sure.
taking the journey yet.
Yeah, I gotta
Oh, but
make
we had
sure.
watch parties at Walters.
Now I
Uh,
was about to say, I gotta make sure I give a huge shout out to the fans at Walters. I mean, that place was unbelievable, man. So
mhm.
really appreciate you guys showing love. Let's make sure in spirit at Walters this week, Saturday night, that we have the beer snake lined up in Walters, throughout the course, coming through the door and all that stuff, all throughout DC. Let's make sure that the fans have somewhere in your home, somewhere, if you're out on the street, in a bar, whatever it may be, start a beer snake, have lemons every time we score, toss them, because we're thinking about a parade everywhere it may go. And let's make sure that we will appreciate the fans. We greatly appreciate the fans. They have been unbelievable for us all year. And our team is grateful for you all, and this is gonna be for you. This is gonna be for you.
I'm so excited to see the fans. Oh man, they have been messaging me left and right, and they're gonna be some gifts, some. I don't want to give it away, but they're gonna be some fun things that they're gonna bring with them to St. Louis. So just be prepared to be well represented as best they can. So y'all just a special bunch. I just can't like shout out to the players that also acknowledged the fans that came to visit. They felt extremely special and loved. So shout out to y'all. Uh, like I said, the best fans in football. I can't. I can't.
Best in football for sure. The
Yeah.
best, hands down, non-negotiable.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'll see you all there. You guys have a bunch of stuff going on. So safe travels to you. And we'll see you all in St. Louis. Thank you, Coach, for your time
Well,
today. I feel like I forgot something, but we'll catch it. We'll catch it on the back end.
hey, we may can do an overtime shoot, before the game, Thursday, Friday, whatever. Just figure
Yeah,
it out. If you miss something, we'll have a bonus segment.
yes, for sure, for sure. All right. Well, safe travels again, and we will catch you very soon. In just a few days. Just a few days.
Few days, man. Thanks you so much. I appreciate it greatly, and we can't wait to get back out to Audi West and get after these dudes here. And we're excited. We can't wait to get there. These guys are hungry. They're chipping at the bit for it,
Yes,
and so we can't wait to get this done.
for sure. All right, Coach. Have a good night, and thank you everybody for joining. We'll catch y'all soon. Bye.